Leah has a very big heart.
The audience loved her. I loved working with her.
She's a talented presenter and a brilliant role model.
Leah really gave me my first opportunities to work in TV.
I'm Leah Charles King, and this is my testimony. So my career first started when I was in a girl band, signed to Sony Music. I was my two other cousins, there were three of us in the band. And we did amazing things. We had billboard posters all across London. We toured with Lionel Richie all around the stadiums across the UK. Hello Wembley, we did all that. We had music videos. We just lived a really good life. We got signed at the age of, 15, 16. We had a good time, but then we lost our record deal, and that was actually the first time that I became depressed. What do I do next after this career in the music? Well, I thought that would have been it. And then I got CITV. CITV was a great way to get into television. I auditioned against hundreds and hundreds of people up and down the UK, and it got whittled down to 4. And then the kids, they voted me in. They voted me to be their CITV presenter. I got headhunted by Disney Channel. Steve Wynn, producer over at Disney, gives me a call.
I wanted to headhunt Leah from CITV because she had something I hadn't seen before. I loved her energy, I loved her confidence, I loved her look. Something about her, that X factor, that thing that you can't describe, that soul.
I noticed my life changing because my behaviour was changing. I would be in bed for days. My mood was down. I had suicidal thoughts. I could barely sit up. For one whole year, I didn't leave my home. I remembered an episode of EastEnders years ago that I'd seen, and a character in it called Stacey Slater. She was diagnosed with bipolar. I remember this storyline, and I thought, it was at that moment that I remember this. I said, I don't have depression. I truly believe that I have bipolar. Remember, I was being so impulsive that if in my mind said to me, today's the day you're going to take your life, I would have done it. And I didn't want to die, so I was scared. So I went to the doctor and I basically gave them a suicide note and said, somebody needs to help me and they need to help me today, otherwise I'm going to kill myself. But when he gave me that diagnosis, I felt so relieved. I felt relieved because I knew what I was now dealing with. I got a diagnosis finally, and it was bipolar. Bipolar disorder 1, generalized anxiety disorder, and it was tough. I left there going, yes, I've got a diagnosis. I proved everyone wrong. I knew there was something wrong with me, but I was in a manic phase. So all of this time that's happening, I was still in this high.
I remember getting a phone call, and she told me that she was sitting looking out of the window and she felt like she needed to jump. So that, as a friend, that was probably the hardest thing I've had to do, was to talk her down from the window. What I would say is that, it causes me a lot of pain to see her like that, because I can't change it.
And as I started balancing over months, that's when the shame came. And I've spent the rest of those years absolutely humiliated, embarrassed, and ashamed that I have this thing called bipolar. I was angry. It's funny because since my bipolar diagnosis, I've actually become more well-known, that I've won the awards, that I launched my business, that I've done all these things. Me, myself, Leah behind closed doors, I sometimes find it hard to function, and that is the truth, and that's even now. But when it comes to work or anything creative, that's my light. That's where I feel like everything will be okay. So the issue is that when I don't have work, that's when things get bad. So I sit there freaking out that actually you take away my career and what I do and what I love to do. It worries me at how I will survive. And that's my struggle. every day.
One of those people that I expected and still expect her to end up on Loose Women or Jeremy Vine or doing her own show somewhere. She's got it. She can do it.
I feel it for her because it's tough, and I'm just amazed at how she's just been able to still pick up herself, even when it's like you've got to talk to people on a day-to-day basis in your line of work, and knowing that you battle with this and you live with this. Like, it amazes me, because I don't know if I'd be able to cope with something like that. I don't know if I'd be able to function.
Even when she has the dark times, you know, she is a force to be reckoned with.
Now is the time to open your mouth and to talk about this and not be ashamed. And I'm scared, even the thought of this being shared on social media and everyone knowing my dirty little secret. I pray that I can use this to help others, as cheesy as that sounds, but maybe someone will be inspired or at least look for some help if they need it. There is life after diagnosis. The bottom line is you can still achieve and your life isn't over. I've got hope, and I didn't have hope before. My hope for you is that if you have been in the situation, or you feel like I do, or you've just been diagnosed with something possibly, that you know that you can still be successful, you can still achieve, and there is still light at the end of the tunnel. There is always hope, and just get through one more day and another day and another day until you just keep going. My name's Leah Charles King, and that was my testimony.